So, serial killer is uh, a game for humans with murderous thoughts sometimes. And I think that the game makes it fun to actually talk about those things and not make it so serious, like the traumas that you've had in your life. Uh, the game will make it easier for you to actually open up to your friends and family and get to know them in a different level, like way different level, deeper than just unicorns and rainbows with your friends that you drink with.
It's time for an adventure in the worlds of user experience and game design. On
Level 4
of the Design Thinking Games podcast, join old school UXers and aspiring game designers Michael Schofield, Tim Broadwater, and an array of quirky characters from pixelated heroes to mischievous NPCs in search of the ultimate player experience. Design thinking is a process that is applied to different types of games in this podcast. If you're wondering whether your favorite games have already come up, you can listen through the backlog at designthinkinggames.com. Now, Rapid Protobot, fire the design thinking laser.
This is the first game that I designed, and I did not expect for this to become like a career at all. I used to live in Las Vegas and I used to host a lot of parties. And if we're not doing those 250 people parties, we usually play games. Because I own like a crash pad business, which is almost like a secure Airbnb for pilots and flight attendants. And so most of the time, a lot of people just come and go. And so when a lot of people gather, we usually play games, right? And when I moved down to Florida, I wanted to create a game for my friends so that I can host parties again. The first people that played the game were actually my partner's parents. I created like a prototype on Game Crafter, just the first ever version of the game, and we played it. And they encouraged me to sell it. I'm like, really? Like, I don't think a lot of people will buy this because it's very dark. Like, it's pushing boundaries on what you play. I don't think the rest of the world are going to receive this.
Do you have like a game studio, or is it just you, Jack Malacat?
It's under Venom Haus. It's spelled like Venom, Venom, but the house is Haus. When you say it fast, then it's like venomous, venomous. Didn't create the business name until later when I already started selling the game because I didn't think it was going to be a business. Like for me going on, I just wanted money so that I can produce the game. When a lot of people actually wanted to support it and bought it, then that's when I'm like, oh, I guess it's a business now.
So, transparency purposes, just I've played the game before. I played it actually with Joel in Texas of Venom Haus
Oh,
Studios.
so you were another. He mentioned.
Yeah, well, I played it with him and Curvin and a couple other friends. And then we started talking about our games and our processes because we have plans to like print it ourselves and like ship it and do all the shipping labels out of our houses and all this stuff. And they were like, oh my God, you need to talk to Jack because Jack is literally doing that. And so, yeah, we have a lot of questions about the route you went doing it all yourself, if you could speak to that.
Yeah, we were moving so that the friends that we used to have were based in Vegas or Chicago or Dallas, and so we're in a completely new city. So we wanted to like hang out with the people that we like at work, and that's how it came to be. Going into the Game Crafter, I just wanted to print something. I already saw how limited the abilities or your ability to design the box or the cards. It's
Yeah.
already so limiting. I mean, I can see them producing like really good games and stuff, but my imagination, I guess, was running wild. And because the product that I got, I'm like, oh, it's the software that made this possible cannot accommodate what I wanted to happen in the box. So that's when I searched for, oh, how can I make it? And then they were very expensive. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe test it first if people would buy this before I spend money. And my friends already said like, I want to play this game. Everybody want like from my friend group wanted to play this game, and when we did, like we had so much fun. So
Mhm.
I'm like, if my friends liked it, and I can I can consider myself like one of the very basic bitches that occupy this planet. So to me, like if we liked it as a party game, then maybe more people would want it in their houses too. So that's how it came to be. And then when I did Kickstarter, like it showed. I
Mhm.
didn't like I started writing the game January and launched my campaign in April.
Did you have any gauge before the Kickstarter, apart from yourself and your local group of friends, like this is going to do well or people want to play this? You know.
I won't lie. I actually told my partner I'm about to become a millionaire because I for
What a
some
joke.
reason like we need that delusional side of our brain
Hmm.
to really push a project through and take it to the end, because otherwise if you don't believe in yourself, then people will feel that you're not fully confident with what you're doing. And I wasn't confident because I know that and a lot of people would want to play it. I know that it's going to be super niche, but in my mind, the way I came into it was there are already so many things I can sell in conjunction with it. This brand, serial killer, I could take like for example, if I wanted to take this to gym goers, so you could be like serial killer of guns or serial killer of squats.
Dude.
know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's how I approach this thing, as in like completely business when I took it to Kickstarter. Um so then when Kickstarter was literally just an affirmation, basically, that it will work if I work really hard on it. And here we are now. This is literally my day job now.
The box is phenomenal. It is.
Thank you.
It's literally has up such stopping power, and people see a coffin box and red with the giant word serial killer, and it's just like okay. I like games that are like grindhouse. I love let's summon demons. I like games that have like some punch and some
Mhm.
violence to them. So um, I definitely think. And you were right. Like you already have an expansion out, or do you have multiple expansions
Yeah,
already, or
I
what's
have
up?
four. I have four expansions, and working on more because I get like the people that bought the game are super involved, that they would email me updates on like what happened when they played it with their friends and stuff, and they would give me a lot of ideas. So I'm like, oh, I guess we gotta make some more expansions. I've been planning to do a Discord group just to make like maybe like a people's expansion, because a lot of people are super dark. I'm like, oh shoot, like I never even thought about these possible deaths, but these people thought about it. I'm like, oh, that would be awesome to be in a card, and I'm excited about it. But yeah, to go back to the box, like I know you guys are doing a coffin box as well.
But we
Yeah,
actually have a coffin player card, but not a box.
not a box anymore. I thought, yeah, I thought that game was really awesome. Like when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, these are the types of games that I would really sit down and like learn the
Hmm.
rules and play it, because you already have like, I for one is already a supporter of what you're doing, and there would be a lot of others out there, and when they see that you are perfecting the game while you're in the process of releasing it, I think that's something that people see as a passion, because people don't see the hard work that gets, they often just see the final product, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they won't be able to appreciate how much you put into the game if they don't know that you're constantly improving it And I think that's one of the reasons why people would want to stick by you, sign up
Mhm.
to your email newsletters, and because they want to be part of a journey.
Yeah, I think we're so concerned about getting it right out of the park. You know what I mean? Like just off the get go, make sure we do enough testing and the prototype feels good. And then
Mm.
when we kickstart, like, okay, we've made it. And we've not actually thought about, no, you can keep improving and iterating on it past the kickstart, you know what I mean? Or the first kickstart.
Thirst is a 2 to 4 player vampire versus vampire game of Dominion, in which players become powerful, monstrous, and bloodthirsty vampires. Rise from the graveyard hungry to find that you are not the only creature of darkness in town. Fight other vampires for dominion over neighborhoods and for influence. Hunt, but hunt wisely. The first vampire to accrue an influence score of 10 wins and can finally slake their thirst. Thirst is on Kickstarter. Sign up to get notified of its launch at thirstboardgame.com. Find Thirst and other things we're working on at designthinkinggames.com. I'd argue all of the prior folks that we've talked to up until this point do what we're doing, which is iterate. They take it to the PAX Unplugged year 1, year 2, year 3, right? They just keep going until it's perfect, and then they kind of let it go. Your approach is very much how you would do software, right?
Yeah.
Where you just release something super small. It doesn't even have to be awesome. It just has to be there.
Yeah.
And then you iterate it. And I guess we've been thinking about hardware just much differently.
Yeah.
Mm.
And when did you feel comfortable, like, oh, there's something enough here that I can version it or start getting it out there?
So I know that my market is people like me who are fucked up in the head when we get to know you. But yeah, so I know that a lot of people can relate to it right up from the get-go. But I really didn't care if it was going to be a super niche game like what people online were telling me when I was
Mhm.
campaigning for it. Like, yeah, I don't see this becoming big, or it's gonna be maybe 100 people play it in the entire world. And to me, I'm like, 100 people is still 100 people.
Mm.
And I really just want to create the best version of the game that I thought about. So to me, it didn't matter. To any designer, it shouldn't matter that it's not perfect yet. The people who understand whatever you're creating, they'll be there. What really matters is what you think about your game, and you produce it, release it upon the world, and share it. And it doesn't matter if you're the only one who's going to play it. You made something that you're proud of.
Mhm.
That's all that matters.
The best
Um,
thing you can do for the best user experience approach you can do, the best music you can make, is to make it not for anyone else, just
yes,
for you, just
exactly.
and then put it into the world. And
Yeah.
you have to trust that there's a market out there. And if there's not, then you still made art,
Right.
Similar to what you're saying, it's just like, it's I made this for me, and other people will resonate it with it because
Yeah.
there's millions and billions of people like on the
Yeah.
planet.
And if they don't, like, the people who don't resonate with it, then they're not like you. And in the first place, there's no way you can convince somebody to like something when they've already decided anyway. Most people are already decided with what kind of movies they're going to watch, what kind of games they're going to play. So there's no point in trying to reach out to those people. This is also the reason why I always position myself like, no, it's a party game. Serial killer is something that you can teach somebody how to play in 30 seconds.
Mhm.
And so that everybody could just have fun, let loose, and be murderous for a night.
And it's interesting because you depending on your group that you play with and the
Yep.
cards that you draw, and then
Right, right.
you're really kind of seeing like, oh, like what type of things irk Michael or how dark is Tim, and there is like a conversation piece there because I actually, when I was playing it in Texas, we had one that came up, and a friend was just like, "Oh, I'm actually choosing this because I don't like anything that mixes like sex and violence together."
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of, and we kind of had an offshoot conversation about it and with
Yeah.
everything, because I know a lot of people like Hellraiser, but then there's that feel of like sexy blood and sexy torture. Like people don't, and so, but that one,
Yeah.
I never knew that about that person. And that was kind of
Right.
interesting. And then it actually said like, oh, like, I don't really like that either. I mean, so it's kind of, it is definitely a conversational party game.
Yeah.
So,
And usually like those are the things that I want to know about people that I let in my life anyway. So let's
mhm.
say we're hanging out, so I'm letting you in my life. And I don't care what you do or how much money you make, or what I care is like how does your mind work? If we're gonna be trapped in this house where the apocalypse, are we compatible or are we gonna clash because you have beliefs that I don't believe in?
Mhm.
Stuff like that.
If you've stumbled onto this station, welcome back. Your host, Mr. Graves, returns with a brand new collection of terrifying tales designed to chill you to the bone.
Make the biggest discovery this world has ever seen.
What is happening to me?
We also have an assortment of characters that are just dying to meet you.
It took him to hell.
Can you understand us better now?
You may need to leave the light on for this one. Your Horror Show, Season 2, premiering on all podcast platforms May 14th. Listen, if you dare.
Um, but yeah, going back to manufacturing the game, like I myself, I'm experiencing paralysis by analysis right now because I'm trying to make the game, I don't know, the best version of itself. And I thought, oh no, I think, the best path forward would be to actually show the deaths. So I would want to have like artwork on the cards and like really push the boundaries of what's a card game. Well, some card games can show deaths or murder scenes and stuff. And I shot myself on the foot by doing this decision right now because I literally have to make about 350 different artworks,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and now I'm stuck because I've only made 80 so far out of the 350.
I think your process is also interesting. You sound like a disruptor, like basically like someone who's just like, this is my idea. I know it's good. It's for me. Oh shit, other people like it, so I'm going to do it. Oh shit, people want it to grow, so I'm going to let it grow. And it seems very different than, like, not different in a bad way or good way. It just seems like you hear these, like, these are the steps you follow, the 5 steps for and it's just, you were like, no, chaos.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. But you kind of want to know all this. Like you can't break rules until you know them. So
Yeah.
there is value in knowing all the rules, the 5 steps to creating a board game, and then so that you can break them.
Yeah, Hannah, who was
Yeah.
on our podcast, um, who will be on
Fox
the
and
season,
Studios.
like literally
Yeah.
was just like, oh yeah, we blind play tested first. And I was like, what? And they were just like, no, yeah, we just gave the game to people with the rules first. And he was like, we learned so much. Um, and so it's just interesting to hear how different people play test, how different people design, and then how some people, how they continue to grow the game or their community. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
What's coming up with Serial Killer? Where can people go to find more about it? How could people connect with you?
So serial killer, you guys, I've been working tirelessly to provide you the best version of the game, and now I'm working on putting more artwork on the game. Uh, I'll put my journey in the website as well, serialkillercardgame.com. Right now, you can find the game from Amazon, which is the easiest way. Have a overnight shipping if you want, or you could get 50% off on the Coffin box, which has all the expansions of the game. It's on sale right now as a spring cleaning thing because we are working on so many other things and we would want to clean our inventory out before we move on to merch and expansions. Yeah. So yeah, at serialkillercardgame.com. It's also on Amazon and on TikTok. My handle is serial killer. For some reason, it's still available. I took
Wild.
I
I'm
took
following you right now.
We're also on YouTube. I just hired a content creator so that we'll be able to post more social media content for all of the people who are following serial killers. So we'll be more active, I promise, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and we are about to create our Twitter and LinkedIn page so that we can connect with more people uh, in the future. So stay tuned for that.
Get ready for the game that's hot. D12's what you've got. 12 questions gotta be quick. Can you handle it? Can you stick? D12, D12, roll the dice, answer well. D12, D12, will you triumph or fail? Rapid fire, no time to rest. Put your knowledge to the test. From gaming to UX, it's all a fair game. Answer right and you learn your fame. D12, D12, roll the dice, answer well. D12, D12, will you triumph or fail? With 12 questions and a whole lot of fun. D12's the game that's number one.
D12, D12, and this cool intro, and then it goes into the questions.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually what I noticed earlier when I was listening to the podcast. Is
Like they're-
oh my god, I love their sounds. It reminds me so much of the cartoons that I watched when I was a kid, and more recently Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Well, we've
I'm
actually approached the podcast very much like your game, to where each season we've like, how can we add value, and how do we listen to people, and how do we make it better? And so we've kind of by the fourth season, I think we've got like what something that at least that people seem to be a positive feedback,
Mhm.
So
To your point, though, we're just like, fuck it, we're gonna make a podcast, and we're like, we're never gonna interview anybody ever because interview podcasts are stupid. Then like,
yeah,
and then
we may get
and
bored
then-
of talking
and
to
then-
each other.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's not that quirky. When you attack, which attribute do you use? Do you use your strength, your dexterity, your charisma, your wisdom? What do you use to fight?
On a fight, definitely my strength. Yeah,
I support that.
yeah. Because I mean, what could you really do when you're in a battle? I mean, are we speaking? If we're in a board game, sure, like we'll have magic powers and stuff. But in the real world, like yeah, definitely.
No, I love is the very like the jujitsu answer where like we've had some people be like charisma because I love to like tear people down, but I love the idea that like it's like, oh, you're in like a real fight and you're like, it's like your mother smells of elderberries and they just like punch you in the face. If you could make up any UX title to give yourself, what would it be?
The Prince of Darkness.
I love it.
Perfect.
Prince of Darkness. Perfect.
What game should everyone play at least one time?
Definitely chess. I learned chess when I was 4, and by when I was 6, I already defeated my entire household, including my parents and my uncles. And I think chess teaches a lot more than just strategy.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't know how to play chess, you have to play it at least once.
What is your like earliest like awesome game memory?
I grew up in the Philippines, so when I was a kid, like it wasn't really video games or board games. Like we had chess and Scrabble, but we used to play outside a lot. Um, and my favorite game is kind of like the Squid Game. Now we have a version of it.
Oh, nice.
So it's
What really?
yeah, not the shooting part. You know
Where
the
you
real
see if people
game where
move or?
they draw it on the ground,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of like the almost
Yeah,
kind of like a hopscotch, but not really.
yeah.
So we have that version, and I think we played that so much when I was a kid. But when it comes to like board games, probably Scrabble.
Nice.
I know, so boring.
It's not boring at all. What game are you playing the most of?
Oh, right now we are every time we get together with family and friends, we play this game called Liverpool. It's like a old,
Liverpool?
yeah, it's an old people game. It's kind of like a gin rummy, as they said.
Oh.
Um, and it gets very competitive, wherein my partner's 83-year-old great aunt would like slap my hand if I did something, and we would play this game over cocktails and stuff. So yes, I guess that would be our guilty pleasure because we get drunk towards the end of the game.
Nice.
What is your favorite dice?
The one that I can think of right now is the metal dice
Yeah.
from Fire Tower, from its deluxe edition, that could literally pierce the board game floor. It would make dents on it. So that's why it's so memorable. And so we have to
That's awesome.
throw the die inside the box so that it doesn't damage our table or anything because it's so heavy. It's like a metal thing,
Oh my gosh.
like a bullet heavy.
Do you take the Paragon path or the Renegade path? Do you play the bad guy or the good guy?
Like if you're playing a game like it's a fantasy, right? I would play the bad guy because I don't get to play that every day.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah, I would like to be a villain.
What is your favorite genre? Alternate history, horror, cyberpunk, goth?
Mm. Definitely am. I gravitate towards horror.
Nice.
I think also because when I was a kid, like there were so many horror comics in our house, and for some reason, like I wasn't even scared. Like that was actually, you know how like comics have that so many onomatopoeia to it, so that's how you
Mhm.
learn how to read. And
Splat.
yeah, yeah, zoom. um,
Hack.
yeah, so I'm very fond of the horror comics. That unfortunately, because in the Philippines we have our own like folklore and stuff, and it was all about that. And like these days, like they don't really produce those stuff anymore. So I guess like
Oh.
I'm lucky to be part of that generation to still what we're able to experience it.
Have you thought about making like a horror Filipino folklore game, like bringing this to life?
Yeah, funny that you asked that because the game that I'm working on right now that is going to release next year is all about the folklores from different countries. So the things
Ooh.
that you usually never heard of because obviously
Yeah.
like here in the United States we're used to like our own horror stories. But yeah, I'm really interested in bringing those stories to life, and it's gonna be a um, board game slash card game. It's going to be so much darker than Serial Killer.
What's your favorite horror movie? Real quick. Sorry, I just. This is what we talk about all the time. So, what's your favorite horror movie?
That could be the next
Um,
question.
my favorite
Yeah.
horror movie. Um, oh my goodness. I got really scared with the Ring series, the
Oh,
Japanese
yes.
version.
Yes.
I've never actually
Oh,
seen the Japanese
Oh,
version.
you're
Yeah.
looks
Like Ringu?
so
Yeah, like
terrifying.
yeah.
Yeah, so definitely those, because there's not a lot of horror movies that scare me. Oh, and the most memorable one, which is The Haunting of Emily Rose,
That's a good one too.
because the acting was so good, but it happens every 3 a.m., right? So me and my
Yeah.
friends, like after we saw the movie, we actually started waking up around 3. And that was why it was so scary, because I'm like, why am I waking up around 3 a.m. now? So
It's the
yeah.
Yeah,
witching
dude.
hour. It's the devil's hour.
So that was Jennifer Carpenter, who was
Mhm.
like the
From
sister in Dexter, the serial killer, right? So for a very brief time, I worked for our college newspaper as like the movie review dude.
Oh.
And the only movies I did were like these horror movies that came out. So I wasn't there long. And I wrote, I think, like 2,000 words on Emily Rose because the acting, right? And she was like the new Scream Queen. And I'm gonna grab a clip for the podcast, but when she's going through the names of all the
Yeah.
people who are like inside her or whatever.
The names of the games.
It's
Let
a
me ask
great
you
movie.
this. Have you seen Sadako versus Kayako?
This is the next question. Yeah, there we go.
Yes,
No.
definitely. I'm taking this in.
No, I haven't seen
That
that one.
is Ringu versus it's like the Ring versus the Grudge. So Ringu
Oh.
versus Ju-on, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never
And then
seen
they
that
do
one.
like a Freddy versus Jason moment. Like, and it is amazing. And it is I think it's on Shudder, but if you've not seen it, and you probably can watch it on YouTube, but it's really good. So
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll definitely check it out. I'm interested, because yeah, the Ring and the Grudge, like those are the scariest movies I've seen through my entire childhood. But yeah, again, like
Yeah.
going back to like folklore, like the reason why they were so scary was because they're so new to the world. Like nobody really seen anything like that yet.
Yes.
So I think like bringing out, different folklores from different countries and putting them all together, I think, yeah, it would be a really interesting game. So we'll see.
What is your favorite like tool of the trade as like a game designer? What is your favorite tool of the trade?
Tool. Photoshop? Is that right?
Yeah.
Wait,
No.
yeah.
Like, totally.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Definitely. Like you can do everything in it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a game designer's friend for sure.
The lights come down. Like you're sitting around a table with friends. The camera finally pans to you, and you've rolled your dice, and it came up a 1, and you have failed your death saving throw. You are dying. What are your final words?
Oh well. Not my night.
This season, we really promise Design Thinking Games is going to be more active on various social media. We understand as aged Gen Xers / millennials, elder millennials, that like, yo,
Wait. I'm firmly rooted in Zennial. I am a Zennial. So I am right between Gen X and Millennial.
okay, as a Zennial and a Millennial elder, we are we acknowledge that, look, like our social media game for the last 2 seasons hasn't been on point, but this season you're missing out if you're not following Design Thinking Games on the 3 T's: TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. Probably in that order, as Twitter is a dumpster fire. Well, on TikTok, you can actually see Ben shooting some like excellent, like just like footage of some of the really cool and interesting games we're playing. As you know, we look at games clinically and deconstruct them to the point of no longer being enjoyable, but that makes for some really good footage. The other thing you'll find there are like this kind of like network of amazing indie designers who we are interviewing, some of whom, or we're interviewing on this show for the season, and we're all going to be engaging there. We'd love for it. If you're into user experience, if you're into the player experience, if you're into the craft of game design, if you're into us, Design Thinking Games.
Thank you for listening and connecting with Design Thinking Games on TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. You can also check out designthinkinggames.com to request topics, ask questions, or see what else is going on. Until next time, game on. Any final thoughts for our listeners, Rapid Protobot?
Destroy. Destroy.